If you ever visit the little railway, you will spot a cheery little diesel named Rusty, happily patrolling the line. He gets along well with the other engines, and they're happy to have him as a friend, even if he's a diesel. But sometimes, Rusty found the job rather boring. Like most of the other engines, Rusty wanted something exciting to happen. He also would like to know what it would mean to pull passengers. One evening, Rusty rolled silently to the sheds. Skarloey and Rheneas spoke up. "How was the day, Rusty?" Skarloey said first. "Oh," replied Rusty, "it was all right." Rheneas could tell Rusty wasn't feeling all right. "What's the matter?" he said kindly. "I always do maintenance routines along the line," said Rusty calmly. "I have an envy. Well, not really, but I just wish I could have a surprise. Then I wouldn't feel so bored all the time." Duncan pulled up. You won't find me complaining," he said. "The only time I need a change is so Nancy could get off her soft couch and come polish me for once." The other engines laughed, but then Skarloey spoke to Rusty. "You don't have to control surprises," he said kindly. "They happen whenever you don't know when." Rusty smiled, but still felt he needed a change. The next day, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds. "This Thanksgiving year," he said, "we have an enthusiast special. I'll need an engine to pull that special train. The first engine will take it to the next station, then the second engine will take it back again. Now, do I have any volunteers?" Then Rheneas spoke up. "Please, sir, can Rusty take the first train? He would love that very much." Sir Topham Hatt looked up. "I don't see any problem with that, but Rusty, you can take the first train." Rusty was surprised. He hadn't expected Rheneas to select him. Then Rheneas winked at him. Rusty then smiled. "Oh, thank you, sir. I won't let you down." And he purred away as the other engines whistled for him. Douglas was already there as Rusty cheerfully backed toward his coaches. The passengers weren't pleased at seeing a diesel, but didn't mind. "First time with passengers, laddie?" asked Douglas. "Yes, it is," said Rusty cheerfully. "Give her all you got, boy," encouraged his driver, as Rusty gave a jolly toot and off they went. Everyone had a wonderful time, and so did Rusty. "Skarloey and Rheneas are wonderful," said the passengers, "but Rusty here gives a good performance too." Rusty could only blush. Soon they reached the station, where they were to meet Rheneas. Meanwhile, Rheneas was on his way to the next station. He had already collected his passengers, and was arranged to take Rusty's passengers back. "Keep it steady," said his driver. "We'll be there in no time." Meanwhile, at the last station, Rusty was waiting patiently for Rheneas to pass. His driver returned with a bagel from the cafeteria at the station. "This is lovely, sitting around with people you can carry," said Rusty. "Ho, ho, ho," chuckled the driver. "Someone's in a cheerful mood." Rusty smiled, then turned his eyes around the area. He then decided to look down at the tracks. And then, "Fuse aches!" he cried. It was a buckled track that had been damaged by the sun. Worse still, the sheds were under repair. "Driver, the tracks!" he cried. Then, a whistle echoed in the distance. "It's Rheneas!" cried Rusty. And he was headed straight for the track. He'll have a wreck, cried Rusty. We must do something. As Rheneas came nearer, Rusty had an idea. Thinking quickly, he charged forward. Rheneas was surprised and slammed on his brakes. Thud went the coupling as Rusty shot forward. As the passengers clambered out of the coaches, Rheneas looked to his left, and there, from erupting sparks to billowing smoke, was Rusty, who lay dazed and surprised in the ground. Worst of all, there was a big hole in his engine. "Engine's blown!" cried Rusty's driver. "Just what I needed," groaned Rusty. Then he could hear clapping from afar. The passengers had clambered out of the coaches and were clapping for Rusty. "Hooray! Hooray for the little diesel!" they cried. Rheneas couldn't agree more. "Quite," he said. "If it wasn't for you, I would have been in a nasty accident." Rusty beamed, but still wanted to go to the works. Later, Skarloey brought Rusty to the works. "Take care," he called, as he set off to the shed. Later, Sir Topham Hatt came to the sheds with important news. "Good news, engines," he said triumphantly. "Rusty is here, but he'll be looking more different." "How's that, sir?" asked Duncan, confused. "Wait and see." They soon smiled when they heard the familiar toot. Then, backing into the sheds, was Rusty, a different-looking engine. My, said Skarloey. "Is that really you, Rusty?" "Yes," said Rusty, "it is. The men at the works gave me a rebuild. What do you think of my new radiator? It'll help me run along the tracks better. And I'll be doing maintenance work very easily." The engines were very proud for their friend. "And I humbly thank you for saving my life," Rheneas said. "So how did it feel to do something different?" "It was all right," chuckled Rusty. "But as you can tell, I'll be sticking to my original duties along the ride. Let's just hope I won't be having to save anyone else for a while. But I'm sorry to say, that's another story."